Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Lorcanarama. This is episode 16. I'm your host, Kelsey. With me, as always, is Sabrina. How you doing, Sabrina?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And joining us tonight as a special guest is Stephen Abbott of PPG Events, tournament organizer. So, Stephen, welcome to Lorcanarama. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Kelsey. Thank you so much for inviting me. I don't make a lot of podcast appearances, so it means a lot to me to be invited, and I appreciate it.
Well, it was neat. As I was sitting there talking to you at Texas, I was like, hey, you want to come on a stream with us? And, I fully expect you to say, maybe, let me see what my schedule looks like, which means no in most, professional circles. So, I really appreciate you coming on. So your time is not taken for granted on this end. So I appreciate it. So I want to welcome everybody in chat. Before we get started with the discussion with Stephen, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a question in chat. We'll relay them back to Stephen. He might be watching it on Twitch. Don't know. He might be able to see himself.
Not at the moment, but I'm pulling it up now.
Okay. And Stephen won't be with us for the full episode, so we're just going to jump right into it. And so I'm going to give you the softball question first, right? Who is Stephen Abbott?
Well, I'll give you the answer that is relevant to you guys. So I have been in the trading card game space for about 12 years now, stepping into an events coordinator role about 2 years ago on behalf of Pro Play Games. Before that, I was doing a lot of contractor work as a broadcaster. So if you guys ever see me at a show, kind of nitpicking what the stream looks like or jumping behind the scenes to check in with our production crew, it's not because I need to, it's because that's where I'm having a lot of fun. So that's me in a nutshell. Love production, love event coordinating, love new card games, and Lorcana has been such a treat in general. So that's Stephen in a nutshell.
So how long have you been with PPG Events?
So 2 years, like I said, in the event coordinator role. And then I've been with them for about a year and a half before that, just doing contractor work.
Okay. All right. And were you event coordinator / I use tournament organizer, but event coordinator, is that's your professional title for the role you?
So I use event coordinator because we do so much more than tournaments. And I get a good handle on basically a lot of the traveling things. So and then, there are times where I'm not the tournament organizer at a given event. So I tend to use event coordinator just as a catch-all phrase, really. But yeah, tournament organizer.
Okay. And then were you involved with them with all of the DLCs that PPG Events put on?
Yeah. So funny enough, my first week with PPG as a non-contractor role was the launch of DLC Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Put your feet to the fire, right?
Yeah. No. I had been working with them up to that point. That's just when I switched over from contractor to full time with them. So
okay. So
no getting shoved in the deep end, nothing like that.
All right. So let's look at the events, right? So you guys did 6 DLCs, I think it was, and then the championship. So Atlanta, I don't want you to count Atlanta because it was the first one, right? Do you have a favorite one out of all of them?
Yeah, I do. Vegas and Seattle were my favorite too. And that's really because the gloves kind of came off. We got to do everything that we wanted to do at that show. And we were having just a really good time putting on the show. We were able to add pieces to that as well that we had been wanting to put in. It was a 3-day event. Side events were basically what we wanted it to be. And a lot of it was all hiccup free. So we were having a good time at that point.
Okay. So you mentioned doing some of the things you guys wanted to do. So going to a 3-day event, that was one of them, I imagine, expanding.
Oh, yeah.
Were there some other things or what were some of the other things?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the side events that we ended up on, we wanted to run the whole time. And yeah, like I said, the 3-day event, that was just being such a, we're very happy to put this on. We knew there was a need for this. It was something that we had been pushing for. And that is mirrored exactly in the Pro Play Summit now. where all of them are 3-day events.
Yep.
You were there for our Friday 10K. So we're going big on the Friday events. We want to give people a reason to show up early, be situated already for the main event. And the best way to incentivize you to be there on time is to give you a compelling tournament to play in.
Yep. One of the things that I liked, so I traveled there with two friends, and one of them, we traveled to the DLCs, and I always like it. He comes in and he's ready to go, and then by the end, he's so tired of Lorcana. and nothing against the game, but it's a testament to, like, number one, the stamina that's needed as a player.
Oh, yeah.
To be in one of those events, but also, there was so much to do on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's like he hit the ground running. Both of them did this time, hit the ground running. And by the time Sunday rolled around, they were toast. And so it's like you get your money's worth. And I appreciate that. I wish it would have been that way in Atlanta, because I came there as a competitor in Atlanta and, came and, get excited, got my badge and everything on Friday night. And then came in, the first day. And I would have liked to have had Friday to just kind of get used to that environment, so.
Yeah, right. That was awkward in Atlanta. Just mostly people were showing up and they wanted to go to the vendors behind us. The vendors weren't quite set up yet, and we weren't allowed to let people in the room. So going into that 3-day weekend transition was so important to us. And yeah, it does lead to very fulfilled weekends, very exhausted players. But I think that's a good thing.
So, Sabrina, if you have questions, you're going to cut me off, right? Because I got a load of them.
The thing I wanted to ask, I was like, what was your favorite DLC? Because I know, Kelsey, you and I have discussed this pretty frequently.
Yeah. So mine was Toronto, by the way, because it was the first one I was a
Toronto.
Judge.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one I worked for PPG. It was the first one I was a judge. Atlanta was different. I was a competitor there, and so
had a buzz about it, though.
What's that?
There was a buzz about Atlanta. There was like an electricity. Like it was the first one. There were only like 2,000 of us playing in the main event. Like you felt the exclusivity of it in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta, they had a lot of excitement. The players, it was so interesting to me. Something I've talked about quite a lot at this point is kind of the culture and behavior of players, and how that, the more you talk to me, the more I talk about it, but the more, like, the culture and behaviors of that specific game lead to organization and how we're supposed to change basically the layout of the room, how accessible things are to players. Basically, what are they used to? Depending on the game, you'll get an entirely different answer. And so going into DLC Atlanta, we just weren't sure exactly. Is it going to be an entirely new demographic made up of people who had never played card games before? Was this going to be their first tournament ever? Are we supposed to give like lunch breaks because the players just have never played a tournament that can be so grueling? Does everything need to be spelled out? I mean, it's the more information, the better, of course. But that was something we weren't sure about. And then, nothing is better than when, Ryan's on stage and he asks the room, raise your hand if this is your first card game ever. And 60% of the room raised their hands because that was a lot of hands went up. That was so exciting for us because it was like, okay, that spells out who we're putting on tournaments for. Now let's go make it happen.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I know in our group, I have a background in a game that shall not be named. And so I quit playing a long time ago on the tournament circuit, and then opened an LGS and then quit altogether in 2017. And so going to Atlanta for me I was talked into it. And actually the way the event was handled and the way the community is what changed my mind about being involved in these things. I still didn't want to do it as a player, though. I have other reasons for that, and you can ask me one day and I'll tell you. I've done it on the podcast before, but I wanted to get involved still, and I sat on it for a couple of DLCs, and then Toronto was the first one I applied to, which is, first of all, I love that city, and then I had such a great time at that event, and the rest of them have been great too, but that's always a special one for me.
We all know
Wow.
Toronto has a special place in my heart. I got
Yeah.
engaged on the way to Toronto, so
Oh, really?
that yeah, we stopped
On
in
the way to
Niagara Falls.
DLC Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he got
wow.
a custom Lorcana card to propose with too. Yeah. So
Wow.
Toronto has a very special place in my heart, but that was probably my favorite DLC just for that. But we went to 4 and they were all just like wildly different, but still wildly fun experiences.
I like Toronto a lot. I'm glad that you bring up Toronto because it's I mean my go-to answer is always the last ones that we did because we're the most proud of that one. But Toronto really was special to us as well, and I'm so happy that you mentioned your engagement along the way because I mean that really is what Disney Lorcana is all about. I mean you have players of wildly different backgrounds, including those who just have never played a card game before. And so this is not just traveling to grind a tournament. This is a vacation. This is a life moment. This is something impactful to them that's going to stay with them forever. And so it's even more important that we get the tournament right and we get the player experience correct because this is not going to sour it for just this tournament. This is going to muddy their entire weekend if we get it wrong. And this core memory that they have. So Lorcana is really special. It's a very energetic, very engaged audience. But it's also one that is a little different than your Yu-Gi-Oh and your One Piece, where those players are just going to another tournament. They go 0-2, drop, even consider leaving. But for Disney Lorcana fans, it's way more than that. It's way more special.
I feel so targeted, Kelsey.
Sabrina's known for rage quitting.
My nickname in our friend group is O2. Like they've offered to make me a jersey.
You
And
should
they were
get a
like,
jersey with
if we get
02
you a
on it.
jersey, I will put O2 on the back of it
02.
for you.
That's
And I was
awesome.
like, wear that.
So, moving forward from the events, from the DLCs, and of course, you guys have the Pro Play Summit. So, I know you did a longer interview. You and George did with Dan on the Forbidden Mountain, and I caught that. And that was back when you guys first announced what you were going to do. You waited till after Ravensburger did their announcement for the World Championship date. But tell us about the evolution of the Pro Play Summit, where that came about, and and some of the things that you want folks out there to know about it, because a lot of people just look at things like this as like just another event to go to. But I have my thoughts on it, and I'll wait till after you say something that makes it special to me, and why I think folks should come. But I want to throw this out to you. So what do you want folks to know about it, and how did it come about?
Yeah, so look, I'm a competitive card game player, and I have been since I was 11. I remember going to my local Books a Million, I think, is where we started doing our local tournaments, and so I've been trying to grind as much as I possibly can since I was 11. And George is the exact same way at Pro Play Games, and we love these very competitive tournaments. Series. It's always important to us that we're able to offer a stage for players to stand on. If you have put the countless hundreds of hours that it takes to get really good at a card game, then we want to give you a space where you can win that event, stand on a platform, and let other people know that, hey, I am the best at this card game, and that's really important to us. And to that end, back in 2019, ProPlay did a different tour series where they were hosting regionals, they were hosting very high level tournaments up until COVID, and then this is a relaunch of that idea. It's about platforming players, giving them the space to become very good, giving them the space to become pillars of their community, and platforming the players who are putting the most amount of work into the game.
It's a good answer. So we I like when you guys did the DLCs, they were special. for the competitive edge, but it's a lot of folks know that, especially those first time players, none of them had aspirations. I won't say none of them. A lot of them didn't have aspirations to really day two. They were there for the experience and the event and the side events. And as the DLCs evolved, guests started coming, which was pretty neat, especially Anaheim. That was amazing. But for me, what makes the Pro Play Summit special, and this is what I found out in Texas, and I heard it over and over and over again. It's like a mini DLC, right? That's the experience that people crave. It's like the all-in-one experience, not just the competitive side, but there's the community side and there's the event side. Now, we know that there were some things that you guys wanted to do. At least I know there were things that you guys wanted to do that you weren't able to do with this one. So how is Denver going to be different from Pro Play Summit Texas?
Yeah, I mean, we were limited on time for Texas, so that, like you said, there were a couple things we didn't have a chance to pull together, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. In our opinion, it's one of our goals to continuously improve the Summit Series every single event, and to basically set the new standard every time you walk in the doors. That's our goal. So Denver will be significantly different than Texas. Yes, we're going to have similar tournaments that are happening there, but one is that Denver takes into account the very special nature of Lorcana fans that I spoke about already, where this is not just a tournament that you're attending. This is a vacation. This is a life moment for you. And in Denver, we have selected, in my opinion, one of the most gorgeous venues in North America. And I say that after spending the entire DLC season traveling to as many Disneylands as I possibly can get to. I do think this venue is prettier than Anaheim. That is obviously my personal opinion, but it's one that I invite you all to go see for yourself. The Gaylord Rockies in Denver is beautiful. And so that is one reason that this will be different. That's basically a full resort treatment, where you can go spend a leisurely weekend while you're playing Lorcana. Another element to it, for this show, we are inviting special guests. So we'll have the artists, we'll have special vendors that will have way more supplies, accessories, merchandise for all the fans to purchase. That is going to range from community leaders all the way to artists, to voice actors, whatever talent comes our way. We want to platform those people as well, because community leaders don't just come from winning tournaments. They also come from driving YouTube channels, podcasts, being voice artists, being artists in the community that are continuously showing up and putting effort back into the community. Whoever is going to start a conversation, we want to bring them in and allow them to do so.
That's great. My daughter will never forget the experience she had with Whitney, the artist that did the Elsa. That was her favorite Elsa card, and she got to meet her, get her picture with her, and talk to her about art, which was cool. 6-year-old daughter asking the questions way, and to me that was the most special moment of all the events for me, was seeing my daughter do that. And so That's where these artists and these guests really have an impact. They go beyond just the players that are there, because folks come there with their families too, right? And and my wife will echo that Denver, the Gaylord, is beautiful because she is now coming because it's going to be there.
I literally just texted Toby and was like, do you have any interest in this?
Yeah, you want to come, Sabrina? You want to come?
It's so hard because we want to go to the first 2 DLCs. That would be like 3 trips in a month, and I think work might have my head if I tried to do that. Not saying I'm not going to try, but we'll see how it goes.
That's my only knock against the 3 days of stuff, is like 3 days of event, is that I got to miss a day of work, and and that puts me in a position where I've got to choose now. And I'm like, no, why can't I do them all? So.
That is something that we're keeping in mind as well, and it's important to call that out. And if you're watching this podcast back, let us know like any feedback that you have, especially in that regard, because that is something we're keeping in mind. The like amount of time that you have to take off of work in order to attend our event. Obviously we want to make that as easy for you to attend as possible. We're choosing venues that are nearby airports. We're choosing scheduled times that end before 8 p.m. so that you can go catch your flight same day if you want to. And we're also not structuring the tournament in a way that requires you to be there all 3 days. Largely, we're structuring them to be played in one single day, with the top cut being the next day. That way, hey, if you do need to stay, you've got a very good reason for doing so. It's because, you're getting paid out. And so, those are things that we're trying to keep in mind. If you're feeling like anything is being overlooked in that direction, please let us know, because, that is genuinely important to us.
Awesome. So with Denver in mind, by the way, for folks that don't know, Denver, Pro Play Summit Denver is September 12th through 14th at the Gaylord Rockies Resort. And I think it's resort, right? Yeah. Gaylord Rockies Resort.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You could go to ppgeventmanagement.com. You can, in fact, let me just pull it up for everybody. Hold on. There we go. It's almost like I had it ready. All right, here we go. This time, the tournament's, up to $50,000 in rewards. That's a lot. It is a lot to be given out. And I have a question too, and this comes from some folks in our local play were asking, and so I want to tie this in because it comes from the summit as well too. The ranking system that you guys have created, which doesn't get talked about enough, I think, in the community. And so I wanted to, where on the page here do I go? Is that on the page anywhere so I can pull it up while I ask you questions about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Hover over where it says Pro Play Summit at the top on the navigation bar.
Pro Play Summit at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
And then if you hover that, you'll see
pro rank.
You'll see the pro rank. Yep, exactly.
There we go. So tell us about the ranking system, just briefly. You don't have to go into all the details about it. I just want to introduce folks to it, and especially how this plays into the store qualifier events. Not only do you have a chance to win that all important first round bye to the summits, but even if you don't, you can still get points for some of these things if they're big enough. So go ahead and talk to us about this.
So we'll be announcing what the leaderboard is, physically doing for you, because we want to tie some rewards to it as well, besides being the primary thing, which is just a community spotlight. So this is designed to, again, all back to that primary goal that we had when launching the series, which is to platform the community leaders. Anyone who's putting a lot of time and effort into the game, we want to spotlight you and make it very clear to others that you are working very hard at this card game. So you're going to be able to accomplish that by attending very large tournaments that are in the Pro Play network and doing very well at them. But you'll also be able to accomplish that by entering a lot of small tournaments. And so that's two ways to drive points into this pool here. And you'll see if you scroll down, we've got people that have won their store qualifier event. They've earned their 5 points alongside their bye, but they are in the top 32 on the leaderboard. And so that is really important to us. You don't have to scroll too far down to see the store qualifier winners, which is important because you don't just have to go to our summit events in order to make it on the leaderboard. You can go to your locals. You can go to several of these qualifier events. The plan is to put them in as many places as we possibly can and make them very accessible to you. So that's the overview of the pro rank leaderboard. It is to raise up the community members, give everybody a spot to stand on. If you've played in one of the events and earned a qualifying amount of points, then you will be on the leaderboard and you can see your rank against other people in the Pro Play network.
So is there anything special in the plans for the ranks? Like top 16 get a special tournament or anything like that? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, so right now, all I can tell you is that you'll want to be in the top 32. That's kind of the area to strive for. And we will have more information released about what being there earns you very soon. I don't want to give you information that we might have to go back on or at some point. So just look forward to that really soon. The team is meeting, funny enough, next week to be able to finalize the details on that. So yeah, just I'll actually send that over to you, Kelsey, so that you can get that posted on our behalf as well once we've got that announcement ready to go.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I the ranking system to me, and we're scrolling down here, my friend's number 32. So granted, it's just we're just one summit in, but I saw his name there. I was like, oh, does he even know he's there?
Yeah, I saw some names I remember. I was familiar with on that list too.
So, I love that. It's like it's working already. I'm so happy about that.
Yeah. That's good. I think it's neat because I could go back to the game that shall not be named, and I could go back and see where at one point I was ranked number 1 in the state of Florida in two-headed giant. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can also track it by I've seen that for being able to track it by locale in Yu-Gi-Oh at some point as well.
Yeah, that's through DCI points, whatever. I can't remember. I don't care. Yeah. I looked it up. I was in there one day to do something and just happened to cross it and I go, oh, look, at one point I was ranked number 1. Oh, how about that? I didn't even know it at the time. I found out years later. So,
that's funny.
But, yeah. So, yep. So with Denver coming up, and do you guys have has your guest list been formed out yet, or is it still a work in progress? Is that going to be on the website as well?
Yeah, so funny enough, those guest applications are already on the site. You can hover over Pro Play Summit and go to the Denver page. The application link is right there. We have gotten a lot of applications already, and I do not want to discourage anyone when I tell you that, because we are still considering as many people as we possibly can. And if we get, you'll just have to scroll down, Kelsey. And if we get a good number of submissions in a certain category, then we might even open up that direction. If we get a lot of content creators that want to come in and set up a meet and greet, we might do that and allow them to have that space. So if there are any thoughts that you have in the community, just go ahead and apply in that guest application spot, and we can have a conversation about what it is that you're trying to present to your audience.
Nice. And since we're here at this spot, and as a reminder of a question I want to ask you is, who came up with the bounty players idea? Because I like that. I thought that was pretty neat. But
yeah, that's a cool idea.
Bounty players are so definitely George was very insistent that we have the bounty players as a way to basically pick people from the community and say, hey, these players, we know they're very good, so it's going to benefit you to take them down. So sorry to the bounty players for putting a target on your backs, but I mean, that is something that we're really excited to be able to offer. It goes towards the goal again of lifting people up from the community and showing them off, platforming them as much as we possibly can. Like I said, that's really important. A lot of the decisions that we're making kind of tie back to that driving principle. And the bounty players are a really big one for us. How we use the bounty players might evolve over time as a result of PPG doesn't like to lock things in. We always want to grow and improve. We always want to give space for things to get better, even if they're already quite good. Bounty players and how they interact with the public might be something that evolves. For example, this past in Texas, we basically gave 4 booster packs for every, if you beat the bounty player, you didn't have to 2 or anything. If you beat them in general, then you were awarded the booster packs. So you got 4 packs. But if the bounty player won, we gave them 4 packs and they actually kept those. Walk up to the scorekeeper every round, which is funny enough, Kelsey, and get your booster packs. But how that looks in the future might be different, whether that's putting them all in a pool and then you distribute them if you do lose. So basically a bigger pot if you do take down the bounty player, or several other ideas that we've floated. The important thing is that we value the bounty players, but how exactly they interact might change every time.
Okay, Cool. Yeah, I like that. I thought it was pretty neat. It was neat to see them come up and the bounty players would escort the players and say, this guy took me out or this person took me out. And,
Oh, wow.
it was, and so they'd come up and they'd talk with them and congratulate them on the win. And that was pretty neat. Now it happened less often than the bounty player just coming up on their own because they were so good that a lot of them were winning. But I did post a picture earlier. I think you see it on our last stream. Someone opened an enchanted right in front of me who beat the bounty player.
Oh, perfect. Wow.
Which was awesome. And we were trying to find the other two enchanteds because we know there were 3 cases that were given out between all of that, but so if anybody pulled an enchanted from the bounties, please get in touch with me. It was a thing that we as staff, me and the other judge that was there with me, we were just trying to track and find out that we got one of them, but and I know you're not guaranteed one in every case, but come on, so.
Man, nothing would put me on a bigger high than you sit me in front of somebody and you tell me, all right, this guy or this player is very good at this card game. Good luck, by the way, because they've won a DLC or they're like a pro rank leaderboard champion or something. So good luck beating them. And then I'm able to take them down, and then I get 4 booster packs on top of that, and I pull an enchanted out of it. It's just like back-to-back wins. Let's go.
Yeah, I know.
So I love that. I mean, that's
pretty
perfect.
neat. I think one of the things that one of the players told us, one of the bounty players, was that he didn't know whether or not to say he was a bounty player because he could sense, because he said it to one person and it looked like their whole demeanor changed and they got nervous and everything. And so he's like, maybe I shouldn't say anything. And I'm like, well, you just got to figure it out, right? So, it's...
I think that's better. I mean, it's never good to disorient a player with information that they didn't have and now they suddenly do. But one aspect of playing in tournaments in general, look, there's a lot of elements that are not just playing the card game to the best of your ability. There's also the fatigue that comes from playing in an 8 or 9 round tournament. There is the nerves that come from going 4 or 5-0 and you're undefeated, and now suddenly a lot of the best players in the room are hovering around your games. There's a lot of nerves that come from you being called up to sit at the feature match table, and suddenly you're on the broadcast and being watched by 900 people, and every choice that you make is being scrutinized. And so the bounty players give the general public in the room the ability to interact with those feelings without having to be put in that position exactly. So it's kind of like an onboarding to even more difficult things down the road that success in the card game brings.
Okay. I have one last question I want to ask you because I know you kind of had a short time with us tonight and we kind of gone past that. So thank you for your patience with that. But I got one question, and this is a curiosity question for me. So with Ravensburger's last announcement that they were going to get third-party vendors in tournaments kind of involved in the whole circuit thing, is there anything you can tell us about that and any communication that you guys have had with Ravensburger along that lines to getting some of the tournaments that you guys are putting on? And everybody wants to know if they're going to be promos. So, I don't know if you know that or can share that stuff, but I got to throw it out there and ask that question because I got you. So,
yeah, I mean, that's one of the most exciting announcements that I've seen from Ravensburger all year. For players to be able to stick with their tournament organizer that they respect the most and be able to travel to their events that they were already going to attend, and hey, now I can also get an invite or promos. That sounds so good. Thank you. I mean, that genuinely, that as a player in the community, that sounds like one of the most exciting things that could happen. And yeah, the summit, we already thought the summit was going to bring enough value and continue to increase the value brought. But yeah, awarding invites and promos sounds like it adds even more value. So it's something we're very much in favor of. We've of course reached out to Ravensburger, and that is something that's in the plans.
Nice. You heard it, folks. Now Denver is even better, right? So that's great. That was one of the things whenever they made the announcement that we said it here, I think we were talking about it, Sabrina and I, and they said it on air. Like they did exactly what we thought they should do. It's like, look, maybe they couldn't put on that many events. I understand that, right? but there's still a gap, but there's a way to fill that gap because you got people already doing that. And it's like, don't just ignore the fact that folks like you and other companies are filling the gaps for the players to, who scratch that tournament itch, right? And to have them come alongside and acknowledge you all, because to me, that's what it was about. It was acknowledging the efforts of the community itself to propagate the game. And to put it on. And so I say kudos to them. You can say what you want about everything else with them, and some folks already have, but I think they got that right. Absolutely. And, kudos to them for that. So.
Right. Yeah. We don't need to beat them with the things they're doing wrong. I love that. I love what they're doing right. And I think that's so good. It'll be great for the players, for the summit in general. I love that. What was I see Forbidden, what was Steve's favorite moment from Texas?
Oh yeah, there we go.
I think that's a great question. For me, it was being able to oversee the tournament, and for the first time, I in previous DLCs have mostly been working to make sure all the fires put out, make sure everything's running smooth. For this event, everything just sailed. It was so good from my perspective. So I got to spend a lot more time walking around, listening in on conversations that judges were having with attendees, or with the production crew, or with the scorekeepers, or with admins. And I will have to say, like, I'm so impressed with our judge team in Texas, like keeping everything on the rails, reporting back to us every time there was anything happening at all. I love you guys. Like, I love our judge team. The DLCs put up like such an incredible pool of judges and talent that can now go. Some of them onboarded into the judge program for the first time ever. Some of them have shifted over from Magic and they have a lot of experience. But one of the things that I noticed was that this incredible proliferation of talent and experience with all of the Lorcana judges. A lot of them have not been put in a situation where they need to judge for a large tournament, and that's okay. We're just like we're taking applications for special guests, we're also taking applications for new judges. And one of the things that we want to accomplish is, well, hey, I've said it a number of times already, but I want to build up the community as much as I can. And that doesn't just happen with players, that also happens with judges. And so one of the things that we're looking to do for future events is pair incoming judges that they've never judged anything. They have some interest, but they don't necessarily have the skills yet, but they have the drive. And so we want to pair them with the most talented and skillful judges that exist in Lorcana space. And we want to proliferate that knowledge and experience the best that we can. And I saw for the first time in Texas, like the spark of that. And that was just so fulfilling that I'm really excited to do that again and more often, and just see what impact we can have.
It was nice to see some of the folks. I hadn't seen a lot of them since Anaheim, but man, to flip those rounds like we did, and get things done as early as we did. Not because we want to shoo everybody out, but everybody wants to be out at that point. They play their rounds. They want to go eat. It's good barbecue to be had down there. So that was impressive to me as a staff member. That was impressive to me. And so,
as a viewer and not an attendee, it was impressive. I was following TFM's like round updates. And I'm like, is round 6 already? They are flying.
Yeah. And that doesn't happen from the tournament organizers. There is nothing that I can truly do to make that happen besides, I mean, I can hound some of the higher up judges, and obviously we can make sure that things were set up correctly in advance. But a lot of that comes from the judge staff knowing exactly when time ends, pushing those end of round steps that they have to follow, and calling out slow play throughout the tournament, just all of the little things that go into making sure that round turnover happens correctly and fast. That's all on the judge staff. And that is one of the, when I say I was so impressed with our judge team, that is one of the things endlessly happy with. So for any of our judge team that was watching from Texas, thank you so much. And for anyone interested in joining us, the site that Kelsey has up on the screen now, please apply. I would love to meet you. I'd love to get you introduced to the wonderful community that we have.
Going all the way back to the top of it, just to close it out. So yeah. So Stephen has we're kind of to the end of the time with him. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to stall for like 2 minutes to see if anybody's got any final questions or comments. I want to say thank you personally for giving us your time this evening. I know you're pretty busy. I hopefully will be in Denver. As a staff member, I'm not plugging or anything like that. I go through the process just like everybody else. And so I appreciate those opportunities for us to come there as staff member and to work. I enjoy seeing the folks there in the community as well. I think that Denver is going to be bigger than Texas, to be personally honest with you, because I hear more people excited about that one. And so I'm pretty excited for that to happen. Sabrina, you have any questions, parting comments for Stephen before we let him go?
I'm just super appreciative that you came on. I think getting a little bit more of an inside scoop on how the leaderboard's going to work and, the changes that you guys potentially see coming and how the PPG summits develop, I think are really exciting. So thank you for your time.
Of course. Just to talk about changes like one last time. One of the biggest feedbacks that I saw from Texas was the prize support on Saturday. And I just wanted to note that I've heard you, and I do want to change that as well. Part of the reasoning for keeping that pricing to top 16 for the 15K was to make it a very top end, very hyper competitive event. I wanted to specifically target all of the most competitive players, because if the most passionate and the most competitive players who play all the time and understand the mechanics of an event, if they all attend and they have a good time, then I think we'll be set very straight once we've introduced all of the more fun and social aspects of the Summit Series that aren't necessarily just the tournament. So that was the goal for the 15K. In the future, that will be a little bit more relaxed. We'll pay out to top 32 as normal, and that is the change that we're looking to make. So just wanted to address that because I know it is like basically number one piece of feedback leaving Texas. So I hear you guys.
Hey, you're just getting started.
People will be really happy to hear that.
Yeah, I think so too. And that was the first one. I'll leave you with this quote. It's from Politics Aside with Anybody. Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, once said, perfection is expected, excellence is tolerated. And, you strive for perfection, but if you miss it, you land on excellence, right? And,
right.
And I always tell folks, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. And so, it's like you guys, one thing I appreciate about PPG Events, and it's why I keep coming back as staff, is your constant seeking to improve mentality, to seek to improve. This is something that's taken for granted in normal folks. They just want to get along in life, mainly because life beats you up and it's hard, right? But you guys are not taking the easy way out. You're seeking to improve. You listen to, your customers. You listen to the players. You listen to staff, and you even listen to, the folks that are online that are sitting behind their computer that won't put their name up. So it's, you hear it and you take all that stuff, and you guys honestly seek to improve yourselves, not just so you could be a better organization, but so that you could put on a better event for your customers and the players. And so yeah. I appreciate that, which is why I hang around you guys. So, it's just me personally. So thank you.
I love to hear that. I ran out of business cards handing them out in Texas. I wanted people to reach out, have my contact information. And then as soon as we left there, I joined as many Discord servers as I could, not to have conversations and not to like really give any kickback to what people are saying, It's really just so I can observe and see what were the pain points for everybody. And so it's been really good. So to that end, please reach out if there's anything more that we can do, or any ideas that you have to make it even more exciting for players. I think those are all great. And what better way to do something big for the community than to listen to the community about that? So. All right. Well, that's the end of my time, Kelsey. I appreciate you so much for having me on and inviting me.
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate it. You stayed longer than what you said you could, and I thank you.
I usually do. But yeah, I'm gonna head out now. I just wanted to give one quick reminder: the Pro Play Summit Denver tickets are available now. We do have a limited quantity of early bird tickets that are available, and there's still I think like 10 or 15 available still. So if you haven't purchased a ticket for Denver, now is honestly the best time. Get that discount on the ticket. And yeah, I can't wait to see you all in Denver.
Sabrina, if you need to go now instead of hanging around for those next 15 minutes so you can get that ticket, go ahead and go. I'll solo the last 15 minutes here. So
I'm thinking about it.
All right. All right. Stephen's going to take off. Sabrina and I are going to hang on. So thank you again, Stephen. And I will see you in Denver. So I hope.
See you in Denver. Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you so
Kelsey. Bye.
All righty. So great conversation. There was a lot of information there. I have 1,001 questions for him. Right. And I talk to him a lot when we're at the events. But I want to ask the questions so everybody else can hear them too, right? So, it's hopefully we can get him back on and we keep firing away the questions. So that's great. So
I just think it's great that they're constantly, like he said, Texas went really well. It was great, but we still want to make it better.
Yeah.
And I just think that says a lot. They're never going to be stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know, maybe I speak for myself here, but I think after the DLCs last year, I think that was a concern, especially when we learned that the DLCs weren't going to be run by PPG, which we kind of found out in a weird way when PPG announced the first summit before there was a DLC announcement. But I think there was kind of like a what does this look like type of thing. And I think the fact that Texas went, by all accounts that I've heard, the only complaints were about pricing. But everybody seemed to have a really good time. And to hear that they're addressing those concerns basically immediately. They're looking to improve even the things that people loved. I really think that we're onto something good here. And I hope that we can say the same thing about DLCs in a couple months.
Yeah. Yeah. I really liked the way they streamed the event. They had like at one point 900 people watching. I was sitting there watching it while I was working there, and I was watching just people pop in and out. So does anybody in chat know if the same stream team is coming back? Same hosts? Are they coming back for Denver? Just curious. Just curious.
Somebody in the chat might know.
Yeah, just wondering because they did a great job, and I hope they come back, and I hope they do the same as PPG Events. They go back, and if the folks that are part of that team are listening, they do their introspective, figure out what they can do better, and come back out and a little bit better each time. So it was great. I really appreciated everything that PPG Events did. And for me, it's like in the absence of a DLC, it was a mini DLC, as I said it before, and other folks have said it. And talking with them, and it's kind of alluded to in the question, I knew the things they wanted to do but couldn't. And still, it was great. And so I'm just excited about Denver to see those things that they wanted to do, that kind of fell through. It didn't work out the way they wanted. And so I'm really hyped for it. And my daughter and my wife are coming. So that's going to be great.
You didn't tell me that. If I go, I can meet the whole Kelsey Hall family.
Yep. They're going to be there. They're going to be enjoying the result. It's funny because he was saying like these events are like mini vacations, and the first thing I thought was, well, for my wife it is, not for me.
I'm trying to figure out how I can make it be both for myself.
Yeah. Bring a laptop and work remotely, right?
I work from home. I can do it.
So there you go. Come on out. I can't get you there, but we can have fun when you get there.
I'm going to talk to Toby about it.
Yeah,
I really want to go.
I think for this one, and I was intending to do this for this last one. I even said something to Sabrina off the air. At the last minute, I decided I'm going to take my microphone and my camera, just to maybe get some interviews with folks and just kind of, maybe pop in live real quick and pop out. I didn't, not to compete with what they had going on, just to have some fun, right? So I think I'm definitely going to do it for Denver if I don't forget my equipment like I did last time. I just simply forgot to throw it in the suitcase. So because it was a last minute thing, I had already packed, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it
It
and
happens.
go. Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to, it'd be neat to kind of interview some folks from the scoring table, and just, especially when the bounty players come up. Those are the ones that was the moment I wished I had my equipment, was to see the excitement of some of those folks when they took out some of the bounty players. And I wish I'd had those things recorded and was able to talk to them at that moment.
And the player that opened the Enchanted, that would have been so cool to have that as a moment.
Yep. I did get the picture, so that is great. So, yeah, that would have been neat. Any parting shots for you tonight, Sabrina?
I'm really excited about the state of Lorcana. And a month ago, I was not.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I feel a lot of positivity. For the first time in a while, there's like 2 decks that I want to play. There's events that I want to go to. I think it's very exciting right now. And I'm glad, because I was really scared there for a little bit that it was going to be, kind of a dead game, or just not bringing the appeal that it once was. But I think we're in a really good spot. I'm excited to see these events. Tickets for the first 2 DLCs go on sale this week, so I'm excited to see what that looks like.
By the way, I just let everybody know, please make sure you know what time they're going on sale in your time zone.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. So, some folks were off with it a little bit.
Some folks weren't so
sure. Yeah. I think it's an awkward time for me. In order, as far as the actual time they go on sale, I'm be right in the middle of a work day and in the middle of a meeting. Maybe some major miracle I can pull it off and be there, because that's my I'd like to be staff, and continue my role as scorekeeper and judge. Different organization putting it on, so I have to go through that process with them. They don't know me, and then backup plan is competitor. Backup plan C is attendee. Because I swore I wouldn't be a competitor, but doggone it, there's an Elsa promo there. And if I said to Sabrina, if I got to grind for it to get it, I will grind for it, because my daughter, I would love to get it for her. So I'll give it. Yeah, I'll wake up the old Kelsey for one season here.
Give it the old college try.
Yeah, so we'll see. I need to go talk with Scott Landis about it, because we're both the grand old men. So how do we pull it off at our age? Because Scott does a good job of it, so of doing the grind. So maybe I need to get some tips from him. So, all right. That's it for tonight. I want to thank everybody in the chat for showing up. I appreciate it. As always, we'll give a shout out to Matified. If you have not seen the work that they do, which by now everybody should have, I saw the vendors in Texas. Craig brought a bunch of his mats. They soaked them up right away, bought every one of them off of him, and they were flipping those things. Like their kids were like kids in a candy shop going through those mats and picking them up and buying them as I walk by the vendors. So, wonderful job he does on the mats. And I'd like for you, if you can, stay tuned, of course, to this podcast in the future, because we have some details where we're going to work it out. We are going to be giving out a Matified mat. I'm going to show it to you. Hold on. That's right. This is not my daughter's Elsa. So I have one for her. I'm going to try and put this up on the camera. So we will be giving this out as a gift, and we have a sneaky idea of how we're going to do it. So stay tuned. On our next podcast, we'll probably have the details for you on how to get that. And it will probably involve being in Denver. So stay tuned. I'd like to thank everybody again for joining us tonight, and we will be back here hopefully next Sunday night. If not, look for us, I believe correct me if I'm wrong, Sabrina, but in about a week and a half, we will probably be moving to Tuesday nights. It works out better for both of us.
That is the plan going forward.
Yep. So we will give next Sunday. Maybe we'll give it one more shot on Sundays just to kind of continue on, and then we'll move from Sunday right into Tuesday next week. If our schedules allow, my wife has to say it's okay. So, but
Check
anyways,
the Lorcanarama Facebook page. We'll keep you guys updated there.
That's right.
That is now up and running. So just search Lorcanarama. The logo in the top right of your screen is the logo on the page as well. So we'll start posting there more frequently.
Hey, this is 16 episodes. 16. So I'm aiming for 20, and then after 20, I'll hit my next goal. So
we're moving on up in the world.
That's right. All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week, guys.
Bye-bye.